Let's go straight to the Ashanti region, my region, Konongo, to be precise, and find out what's going on there.
The effects of illegal mining in the Konongo area are being felt by households who are lamenting the impact on their water usage.
As announced, when the pipe is flowing, the pipe-borne water, at times it has an odor. And then the odor is too much that when you are even washing with it, you have to use a softener to take away that smell because it smells like sewage. And it also has a color, which is not supposed to be so. But because we can't have any other means of getting water, we have to bear with what they are giving to us. And it's also giving infections to my children. My younger one is having these rashes that I took her to postnatal. And then when I inquired from the nurse, they told me that it is normal because as long as I'm using the pipe-borne, she's even having that issue. And she showed me rashes on her body that she told me that it's normal with my own also.
In the middle of the Konongo township, excavators and mining equipment are actively being used for mining. The activities here are polluting the Owerri River, a major water source that serves communities within Konongo and surrounding areas. The head pastor of the New Life Church of Light is angry about the development which is happening just a few meters away from his church.
Amna kase bona dai empanifo twam wa so mo timi nya lewe Ghana has empanifo nia na aduru mra wo se Konongo for ye be sori nia ye demonstration kase patia manfo atia empanifo ene amampanifo omo Ghana afa kwa we ye besi no ebi se amna kase we enche ebesi ye resa enye sa enti se na mo ba mutu mani ade ekosu empanifo ni nyina nim hu bi empanifo wo Ghana ha nim hu bi panifo wo Asante Atem Central ha nim hu bi.
According to officers of the Environmental Protection Agency and the Minerals Commission, they were only informed about a dredging exercise being carried out by the Asante Achim Central Municipal Assembly and are not aware of the mining activities.
We are not actually aware of any mining activities going there, but we've seen some. We've been notified, so we've seen some certain activities going there. But a check in our records indicate that what we can relate to it was a recent letter that we got from the Municipal Assembly that they wanted to undertake dredging. So when we got, it's only this week that we got information about the mining activities that is taking place there. So we are yet to actually go to the field.
On the streets of Konongo, residents expressed concern over the continuous destruction of water bodies and farmlands due to illegal mining activities.
It's kind of alarming because around our area, you can't even sleep. The machines, they work every now and then, even as at 12 a.m. when we close and we get to the house, they will still be using their machines and it's kind of noisy.
Itimi sanom itimi di sinyema simdi ye bibia opesa ope na sisi aya galamse ne ba ye de o de yehwe enye yi banifo ne nyina ehu de ekoso krom anyimfo ha nyina ehu se nsuo no galamse fo ne se no so omon kan hwe nkire wo mo.
There's growing anger among inhabitants of Konongo who are outraged at the activities of miners in the middle of the town on the main Kumasi-Accra highway. The inhabitants say they will rise up if authorities fail to stop these activities. Hafiz Tijani, Channel 1 News, Konongo, Ashanti region.
This is, I don't even know what to say, but it's affecting the Konongo Highway, the construction of that highway in the Ashanti region. We've been advocating for the, Accra Kumasi Highway to be fixed. People are trying to do that, and then we're doing galamsey in the glare of everybody. But we have our man on the ground there, Hafiz Tijani, joining us live via Zoom in the Ashanti region. Hafiz.
Hello.
How are you doing? Good morning. Welcome to Sunday Breakfast.
Thank you very much.
Wow, this is the first time we are having you, right? So it's great having you, Hafiz. I hope you are well.
I'm well, Mr. Duncan. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, my brother. Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, TJ, so tell us about, I understand that there are actually excavators doing the galamsey work, not just, the normal people dig up, but excavators on site. Tell us about that.
Okay, so anyway, so the worrying thing is that the EPA officers and the Minerals Commission officials in the Konongo area said that they had a letter 2 weeks ago from the municipal assembly that there were going to be some dredging exercise. The rains are setting in, and the assembly says that the place there is a waterlogged area, so they would want to carry out a dredging exercise. But they didn't know, they only had that letter because they work as a team, the EPA and the Minerals Commission, and also other agencies within the municipal assembly or the municipality. So they only thought that it was a letter that was notifying them, of a dredging exercise so that it can go a long way to save the people from any unforeseen disaster. So they were preparing for this, and later we had to call in to ask the EPA, because when I heard about the story, we went to the area to confirm, and we wanted to also follow up with the EPA to find out whether they were aware in the first place of the mining activity going on there, and secondly, to find out even if it's a given concession. By sometimes you go to some of these areas, they will either tell you they are doing community mining or is, and you are not going to be able to confirm that unless you get to the EPA and the Minerals Commission officials. So they were also surprised at what we were telling them. They didn't know that this or such an activity was going on. Then later on, when we spoke to residents, and they were expressing worry about how this activity was affecting the Owerri River, which is a major river in the community. And the Owerri River some time ago was very clean. Farmers in the area used to depend on it for irrigation purposes. Even for domestic use, people could go and fetch the water to use it for their domestic activity. But the mining activities have really polluted the that river source or that water source. So that river also share a boundary with the Enum River, which is also supplying the Ghana Water Company with their treatment. So early this year, we were at the treatment plant of the Ghana Water Company Limited, and they were lamenting the kind of operational cost, additional operational costs they were incurring to treat water and supply to the residents of Konongo. And they were blaming these activities. Even close to the treatment plant of the Ghana Water Company, there are mining activities going there. And Konongo, for that matter, when you go to areas like Abodumasi and Konongo itself, people are mining in their areas. Somewhere last year, in their houses, somewhere last year, we reported that one of the buildings caved in and someone died. And just 2 weeks after that incident, we were told about another death because of how mining activities are going there. The houses there are sinking. And these miners are emboldened. When you go there, they threaten people. One time we did a story with one resident who spoke to us.
Oh, we seem to have lost.
We seem to have lost.
Hafiz there. We'll try to establish
Spoke
connection
about
with
the
him.
incident
Okay.
and want to give a tax. And the activities are going on left, right, center. And this is just one particular incident we are seeing, but this is so worrying because it's on the main Accra highway.
Yeah.
Mind you, Eno was talking about the calls for the dualization
Yeah, exactly.
of the Kumasi. And there's a bypass that is being done on the Konongo stretch. And even that area, there are activities of illegal miners being carried there. So it's widespread when you go to the Asante Achim Central, the Asante
Municipality.
Achim North, and also the Asante Achim South municipality. So these are areas that are close to each other. So we have the Asante Achim South, that is Dwaso, which is the capital. We have the Asante Achim North, that is Agogo. And we have the Asante Achim Central municipality, that is Konongo.
Wow. Hafiz, so this is quite troubling, right? I quite recall you did a story somewhere last year around this time about bodies that were recovered from pits in Konongo, in the Asante Achim Central Municipality. And going back to this very report you filed, are you saying that the EPA said that they had no idea about mining activities going on in the community? Because that would be very shocking, considering that just a year ago, 2 people were recovered from mining pits in the area. What really has the EPA been saying to you?
Well, so the EPA is aware of the general mining activities going on in Konongo. But in this special case, they said they were told that it was a dredging exercise that the assembly was to carry out, and they were notified. So they notified the EPA because of the environment or the area they were working, so that should there be any disaster, the EPA will be in the know. But they were not aware, according to them, that these activities were ongoing until they were hinted by some community members, and later the media followed up with the concerns of the residents. But according to the EPA, they were only told that a dredging exercise would be carried out. Even with that, when we went there, when I was also told that it was a dredging exercise, from afar, you believe that, or you could say that it was a dredging exercise that was being done in the area. But when you get close to the place, you would realize some fine machines that are situated in the middle of the field that they were operating. And that could not tell you that this is a dredging exercise that was being carried out, but it was a full mining activity that was being carried out. And this place is located just some few meters away from the major highway. And mind you, a place close to the highway is caving in. So
that sounds serious.
Some danger. And it has been 2 years. We have reported on this matter. The former road minister, Amwakwata, was there some time ago. He promised that they were going to maintain the place because it was getting deteriorated and it was eating up into the highway. So if that portion of the road is blocked, it's going to be difficult for commuters on the Kumasi-Accra highway on the Konongo section to be able to pass on that stretch. And he said they were going to do it till date. It has not been fixed, and the mining activity is also going on, and that is making the community members so angry.
Right.
Wow. Hafiz, also I quite recall another story you did about, I mean, we know that, so aside the devastation Galamsey does to the environment and to water bodies, it also destroys a lot of cocoa farms in the Ashanti region. I think you did a report in Nkari where about some 20 hectares of land or cocoa farms were about to be, destroyed due to Galamsey. Have you been engaging cocoa farmers in this? What have they been saying? I mean, farmers in Konongo whose lands really are being destroyed. What have they been telling you?
So before, some of the cocoa farmers were giving up because of the kind of inducement, for want of a better word, that some of the illegal miners were giving them, because you have cocoa farmers who in a month cannot even make up to 20,000 in a month. So these miners come around and they say that they will buy your just your farmland for like 40,000, and they were being convinced to sell out their land. And even before these miners will approach these cocoa farmers, they will have to carry out exploration to see that if that place is fertile for gold proceeds, for them to get their gold from there. And areas where they find some of the gold there, they induce or get farmers. They get these farmers to sell their cocoa land, not their cocoa farms, not knowing the future repercussions on them. But now that most of them are being engaged by the Cocoa Board, some of them are fighting the illegal miners themselves. They are not giving out their cocoa farms like before. And the Cocoa Board now has intensified their engagement with the cocoa farmers and telling them about the effect of illegal mining, not only for the interim, for they selling out their farmlands to get the money now, but the future repercussions that the activities of the illegal miners would cause to the farmlands, the vegetation, and also the water bodies. So now some of the cocoa farmers are not selling out their lands. When the illegal miners sometimes approach them, they decline some of the offers. But before, that was really, really, really right when you go to some of the mining communities and some of the...
All right, TJ, I wanted to talk about the water bodies that you mentioned. So it's being polluted by the activities of these, illegal miners. Now, my question is, what the community that uses that particular water for their daily activities or watering their farms, etc. I don't know if you're able to go into the community or go to the hospitals, because then that means that they're presenting with peculiar diseases or peculiar things that probably doctors have, no idea about, and it's all due to the water that they're consuming. Were you able to witness or see such things for yourself?
Okay, so I spoke to some of the residents who told me that now, even if they store water, after a day, they see the color of the water changing and they see some particles in the water. And they use this water to cook, they use this water for washing, they use it, and sometimes they drink this water, they drink from this water. So this water that runs from their tap, or that they get through the Ghana Water Company Limited, they store it and the color of the water changes. They see some particles in the water. And I spoke to one lady who said that she took her children to the hospital and they were experiencing these skin rashes on them. They have these infections. And when she went to the hospital, the nurse who was taking care of the kid also complained about the same thing. And they attributed this to the water that's been polluted and supplied to the Ghana Water Company Limited. I told you that the Konongo treatment plants, they are incurring a lot of cost, and they treat the water like 5 times before supplying it to the communities they serve. And still, they are not able to get quality water to supply to the... And now they use charcoal to even put in the stored water, so that they think that the charcoal will be able to do away
the
with
impurities.
Wow. It's shocking.
So you go to their rooms or their houses where they store the water, you find charcoal that is being used to purify or remove help in removing the odor, because they say the smell of the water is not that pleasant for them. And they are experiencing already skin infections, and they are not able to use it to wash. Even if they want to wash with it, they will have to add some chemicals to make it so pleasant, so that when they wash, it will not stain their clothes. So that is the situation in
Right.
Konongo, and people are getting angry, but they think that the authorities are not doing enough to address this situation.
All right, Hafiz, let's talk about the Accra-Kumasi Highway now. If you had a chance to speak to the contractor on that portion, I'm sure that it's going to delay. How have they been set back by these, challenges that they're facing from these galamseyers?
Well, have you frozen?
We seem to have lost Hafiz. Technical challenges. We're going to try and establish that. But this is a president who said in 2017 that he is putting his presidency on the line and he's going to fix this problem of galamsey. This morning you just mentioned that it's rife where they are launching their manifesto.
Yeah, Western
so
region
it
has
falls
been
into
identified. Western region has been identified as the galamsey capital in the country, and this is by journalists who've been documenting all that's been happening with regards to the level of destruction of the environment. But NOC, two stories disturb me the most about illegal mining in the country, right? And it's got to do with the initial arrest of Aisha Huang, who would later come to know as the Galamsey
Queen Pin.
Yeah, really. And of course, she would later be arrested again after that shady work of arresting her and letting her go. We were told at the time by the senior minister that Yaosafo Mafo that there was no economic gain in detaining her or keeping her in jail, right? So she had to go. She had to be deported, no problem. She'll come back again because our laws are not really working, right? Then...
TJ.
All right, cool.
Hi, TJ.
Hello, Hafiz.
Yeah, so I was asking whether the destruction to the Accra-Konongo Kumasi Highway has set back the deadline for the dualization. No, we seem to have lost him. Okay.
Hello, Hafiz, can you hear us?
Hafiz?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Right.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, great. So I was asking about the dualization of the road and how it has pushed the deadline back, and they're probably pumping more money into the dualization of that road. If you could tell us a bit about that.
Okay, so when the last time the Ashanti Regional Minister was there and the road minister, he was also there recently. So, because of the area is swampy already and the illegal mining activities are compounding the situation. So the contractors who are working on the project have to use boulders to fill the distracted areas or the destroyed areas. So it's really costing them, and they will have to fill it to be able to get a place solidified. They will be able to work on that portion of the land. So the Ashanti Regional Minister was promising that they were going to use the security to flush out the illegal miners that are impeding work on the bypass, the Konongo bypass, so that they can allow the contractors to continue with their work. But with the highway where the mining activity, where we went to report the mining activities, we're told that there was a security intervention after we did the report, and the miners have ceased their operations, and they have currently packed out of the place. And they are also, the assembly, I'm told, is trying to also reclaim the land, look at the distraction that has been caused to the place, and they're trying to reclaim the land.
Right, you were saying?
Yeah, so my concern really is about the level of destruction to the farmlands. I mean, if you look at the current state of cocoa production in the country, it's at its 13-year lowest. And of course, we know the reasons why our cocoa production is low. You can talk of the swollen shoot disease. You can talk about climate change. You can talk about smuggling. And you can also talk about galamsey. And see, galamsey is more serious because there are two issues here. So you are losing a lot of hectares to illegal miners because they come in, they pay these farmers money, and they give out their farmlands. And also because there's the European Union deforestation regulation, right? So EUDR. And it's basically saying that, see, if you are producing cocoa, if you're a cocoa producing country, and you are destroying your forest to produce whatever it is, we are not going to buy from you.
Yeah, there are
right?
going to be specific bans in place.
Exactly.
I remember they announced it.
They announced
but it
it,
seems
and it's big.
well, you
so
know,
if you are from
we're
a
calling
producing
their
side,
bluff.
yeah, if you're a producing side and you are destroying your environment like we are actively doing, they're not going to buy from you. So I think that we need to see galamsey as an existential threat. Really, it threatens us directly. Hafiz was talking about how water quality is threatened. Calvis, our correspondent in the central region, also did a report about how 30% of water from the region, that's the central region, is not really
I don't
potable.
know. I think it was last year that we did a series of stories on water and how the Ghana Water Company Limited
is struggling.
Pays extra. So that means we, in the end, are going to incur that cost because they need more of their the things, the treatment, more of the things that they use to treat the water because the water is terrible. It's completely terrible.
And we're discussing today during the news review segment. You go to Abuabo in January this year in the Western North region. And I told you about how the Western region...
the Western region, yeah.
Well, this in the Western North, but in the Western region is how they now become the capital of galamsey in the country. In the Western North region, residents in Abuabo were saying that they endorse galamsey because when these illegal miners come, they are able to provide some basic relief for them. So they build their roads, they fix their schools. And I think it was an indictment on the kind of democracy we've practiced all these years. We've had Operation Halt, we've had Galam Stop, we've had procurement of drones to fight it. So many interventions, but it seems the fight just can't be won. And you look at the charge, so eventually Aisha Wan will come in again, then she's taken to court, and she's given a 4-year jail term, 4.5 years, I believe, for all of this distraction that there's evidence to really. And I think that we also need to really look at our law.
I've always wondered, right, that these people who are there, and Hafiz, if you can help us with an answer, so they're doing it in the full glare.
Yeah.
So they must have backing. Because they don't fear Operation Gala Stop, Operation
weapons,
whoever.
We understand.
So who is backing them, or what gives them that boldness to continue what they're doing at the detriment of, the EPA and all the other bodies that have been employed to stop them?
Well, certainly someone in the higher authorities backing people because the kind of boldness they use to carry out these activities. There was a time we embarked on this with the military, and we got to one particular site. There was a phone call. One of the operation commander called the owner of the concession, and later the operation commander said that we should move away, and there was no reason given that we should move away. And you go to some of the areas with the military, they themselves they are really not happy with the situation, and their hands are tied. Sometimes they tell you, an order from above, and that is what you hear from the military, and they are not able to do that. And sometimes, somewhere last year, the commander, the central command, the general officer commanding for the central command, the former general officer commanding for the central command, was also lamenting about how even sometimes some of the military officers leak information to some of these miners. So when they are about to go on a swoop or on a clampdown of illegal miners, some informants within get the information across to these miners. So the strategy they had developed was that they were not going to inform anyone of where they were going to, so no one will be in the know. But sometimes they look at the direction. So when you are heading from Kumasi to the Santati areas, they either know that you are going through Jakobu in the Amansia Central District, or you are going to Manson Kwanta in the Amansia West District, or you are going to Manso Dubia in the Amansia South District, and you are moving from Kumasi to the Nkawia areas. They know that there are mining activities there in the Nkawia and also the Minehin areas. So sometimes the informants will inform or will lay the information to these miners, and before you get there, they had moved. There was a time we set off from Kumasi at 3 a.m. The other time where we even went to sleep at the office at that time, so we could catch the military the time we're given. We left 3 a.m. Before we could get to the Jakobu areas and the Manson Kwanta areas, the military were saying that there was an activity here and the excavator had moved, and you could see the traces of the excavator. And they were surprised at how.
So how they get to the tip off? Like,
There's somebody within them.
It's shocking.
Yeah. TJ, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time. It's been an insightful conversation. Honestly, if we do not want to import water into our country, if we do not want to be banned from exporting our cocoa, then something needs to be done. If the president said he was putting his presidency on the line, then he needs to, answer that call to action that he himself called for himself.